right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Valley News Now. Doug, I know a few Wednesdays in this span here, we've ran into some breaking news issues, but it's good to get you in here when you're actually supposed to. So.
Well, and that's the whole thing where outdoors is. Outdoors is kind of the toy department. It's about recreation. It's about having fun.
And we love it.
Yeah.
We love it, but sometimes we have some breaking news.
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
Appreciate your time for sure whenever we can get you in. We missed you last week, but no, obviously things look a little bit different outside than they did 2 weeks ago.
Can we keep that?
We have this up because we're reminiscing on a better time.
Yeah, that was Sunday.
This was before the snowstorm hurt my brain and soul and made the road super fun.
Anything I can do for you?
Well, we can talk like in general, or
yeah. I mean, if your brain is hurting,
we'll talk about that.
No,
maybe
lie down on the couch.
Yeah, where is that? Anyway, Doug, one of the hot topics on everybody's brains right now, of course, ice, because it's on the roads and we're driving over it now. What are the big concerns with this, early ice season? I know people are antsy. I do want to preface this. Every time we talk about this topic, there's a bunch of comments and people saying, everyone knows not to go out on the ice yet. Everyone knows it's too thin. Of course it's not safe yet. And then I think 2 weeks ago when we got the first snow, some people had to get rescued who were out on the ice. So, I mean, it is a topic.
Well, and that's the thing is they can take issue with, we know not to go on the ice. The problem that we've run into, and it's not unique to today or it's not unique to Fargo, it's not unique to Minnesota, South Dakota, or North Dakota, is for some reason, one of the biggest barriers that we have is, well, it's not going to happen to me. And the sad thing is it does. And we don't want it to happen, and we cannot hammer home enough. It's similar to when you talk to the Highway Patrol and they say, buckle up. Give yourself more time. Well, for some reason, some people don't buckle up, some people don't give enough space, some people don't take enough time, and they end up causing a crash, they end up in the ditch. And the same thing happens in the outdoors is they hear the message and they know the message. And I'll take it one step further. I work with a lot of people that have a lot of common sense and a lot of wisdom, a lot of street smarts and outdoors cred. And they get a little bit numb to the safety message. And they've also been a victim of their own success. We've always done it this way. Nothing's ever happened this way. And then it does happen, and you're calling 911, and there's emergency services, and unfortunately, sometimes there's even a funeral involved. And we don't want that. And that's why we just continue to pound on the pulpit, just similar to like the Highway Patrol says, is safety, safety, safety. Check the ice. Look at this. You see the snow. And this is not like today's video. But the message we're trying to send is you put a blanket of snow across that ice, and you can't really tell how thick ice is, how thin ice is. I noticed it just today walking out, is you see something white, you see something icy, but there's slush right underneath it.
Right. Yeah.
And you get wet feet, and you go, oh. And that's the same thing that's happening in sloughs. It's the same thing that's happening everywhere, is you go from this on Sunday to the video on Wednesday, and you take that snow, you mix it up with the ice, you add in colder temperatures, and then you have the wind with that. It makes a slush. It doesn't freeze as firmly, it doesn't freeze as quickly or as strongly as if we would have gone from 35 degrees down to 5 degrees for 5 days straight. Even in the best conditions, like if we go like at 20 degrees and overnight without snow, without wind, you maybe make a ½ inch of ice overnight. So you're not making a lot of ice. You can't get to that safe 4 inches of ice overnight. It feels like it's been cold for a long. It feels like it's been cold forever. You're ready for June. When do the Red Hawks start?
Yeah,
but there's a long way to go, and there's going to be a lot of people, especially with this holiday, that maybe it's pheasant hunting, going across that slough. People that are just chomping at the bit because you take these colder temperatures, you put everybody inside, and your football team is down by 3 touchdowns, and you're going, let's go find something to do. Let's get outside. And we encourage people to get outside. We're going to encourage you to go pheasant hunting. We'll encourage you to go for a walk, to get out there and get that fresh air. But we're not going to say that it's safe to go out on the ice right now.
And you mentioned even, in this slushy mess that we're in right now, which we can find out in our parking lot, you may not know what you're stepping on at any point. So how important would you say it is to just when you're going out there, especially, you know, over this holiday weekend, just to kind of know the layout, know what things look like wherever you're going.
Right, and you saw that chipper that was being used. So take a chipper along with you and check the ice thickness. And one of the things that you're going to find out is you might have safe ice where you're standing, but where you're chipping might be slush, it might be slop, and it's going right through. Safe ice one spot, unsafe ice in the next spot. So check, double check. This is not the time to channel your inner Lewis and Clark and go exploring new areas. Because if we have people that they know their slough, they know their lake, they know where there's a spring, they know where there's a creek. Any place where you have a water coming in, where you have water moving, it's going to create even more unsafe ice. So I get it. There's going to be people that I've always fished this slough. I know I'm going to have a hot bite. And I'm not saying that you're not going to find safe ice and that you're not going to have a safe trip. But what I am telling you is don't just go out there blindly. Wow, it's been cold for 3-4 days now and should be good. Should-haves and would-haves.
Yeah, exactly. And you mentioned that 4-inch thickness. That's obviously kind of the bare minimum for safety there. We're not necessarily going to be able to pull out a trunk and measure it to 4 inches.
No.
How do you kind of gauge whether or not it's safe?
Yeah, and again, you take a couple of steps out there, you use that chipper and you check. And then you take a couple more steps and you check. You just got to continuously check and check. Your life is worth it. Your family wants you to come home safe and sound. Take somebody else with you. Make sure that you have a float coat. Make sure that you have, ice picks. Just a lot of different safety. Have a rope. I mean, I don't want people to tether a rope to their waist and tie it to the bumper of their pickup truck and go wandering out onto the ice. But if you're going to go out wandering onto the ice, then you better make sure that you're making smart, sound choices and decisions, because once you crack through the ice, the other kind of misnomer is, well, it's not that deep. Hypothermia sets in a hurry, in a matter of minutes. The water, it's an icy bath. I don't like taking a cold shower.
That's true.
Right? And you get in a cold bath and you start to lose the nervous functions, the nervous system abilities, and as great of a swimmer as you think you are, as easy as you think it is, well, I'm just going up to my waist, and then the next thing you know, you got to get back to your truck. You can't get into your truck because your hands are so numb, you can't get your keys. Hypothermia sets in. There's a lot of bad things that can happen. So then here comes Doug going 180. I don't want you to sit at home in the basement.
Right. Well, there's a middle ground.
There is a middle ground, and I appreciate you acknowledging that fact that, we're trying to make sure that if you're going out there that you're being smart, but we're not saying that, the Lions are down by 28, just sit there in front of that TV.
You didn't need to do that to the Lions.
Okay. They're not, they probably won't be.
No,
but if they are,
good.
I'm not saying just sit there and watch the rest of it. I'm going to tell you to get outdoors. I'm going to tell you to go out for a walk, breathe some fresh air, get out there and get some vitamin D. There's a lot of activities. Quite frankly, if you're going to say that, well, that first snowstorm came on November 25th on Tuesday, and I'm not going back out until we hit 65 degrees, you might be in for, I'm not a meteorologist, but I'm just going to go out on a limb and say it might be a while until we're tapping 60.
We got a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Months, what are we talking about?
I think it was Aerosmith that said it. Dream on. Dream on.
Exactly. I imagine, I don't know what you've heard, but I imagine, the ice was thin pretty much all year last year as well. There really wasn't a particularly safe time to go out there. Is there kind of an up to level of antsiness, for lack of a better word?
There is. There's a lot of people, and it's the same thing when we don't get snow. The ski resorts and the cross-country skiing and the snowmobilers, they all want to get some snow out there, and when we don't get ice, I remember last year, I think the first time I saw somebody ice fishing was like November 23rd, and they were on safe ice. Don't let the calendar tell you that, well, it's going to be December, we should have safe ice. I don't know what's going to happen, but typically you're going to get towards Christmas, you're going to have much safer ice conditions. Again, we don't know exactly what's going to happen, but I will tell you that the best thing, and don't get mad at me, is the fact that when I saw your 11-day forecast, I don't see 60 in that. We're not going to be melting this, real rapidly. So we should be continuing to make ice, which is actually in a safety aspect, a much better scenario is to get cold and to stay cold and to make ice. A freeze thaw kind of that roller coaster is going to make even more problems. So it's probably, for all safety aspect of it, it's probably better that we're getting cold and we're going to stay cold for a little while, Devin.
Avoid slush.
Yep.
Try to avoid slush.
Yeah.
I don't like slushies. What are your thoughts on slushies?
Not this time of year.
Oh, that's fair.
Not this time of year.
We haven't been able to talk to you for a couple of weeks. I guess deer season we got the initial report from that first weekend, but then, like I said, it's been a couple of weeks. How was your season?
I would say okay. I wouldn't say anybody's gonna give it a 5-star gold rating, but if you drew a tag and you were able to get out there and hunt, we did have some pretty good reports from people that did get out there. The one nice thing about having a milder November is it was hard to come up with an excuse to not go out. Deer hunting. We had,
I tried.
Right. I mean, that opening weekend, there was some cold, but, for the most part, you had a couple of weeks of really some pretty good conditions to get out there and deer hunting. And so we had some pretty good reports from the hunters. We have our muzzleloader season opening up on Friday, so if you had a black powder tag in North Dakota, you'll be going muzzleloader hunting.
Muzzleloaders are so interesting.
Yeah.
They're so cool.
It's really a cool niche.
Yeah.
It's really a cool niche. And then our archery deer season in North Dakota, that goes till January 4th. So the regular gun season is over in North Dakota. And I think most hunters, if they were going to be honest, they would probably grade it around like maybe a C+ or maybe a B- because we've never been into the philosophy of just issuing tags for the sake of issuing tags.
Right.
So we had 42,000 tags available. We had some of the lowest number of tags that we've had literally in probably 40 to 50 years. So if you were lucky enough to draw a tag, you didn't have a lot of competition, you didn't have a lot of congestion, so you were able to get out there and maybe find a deer and maybe fill that deer tag. So I would say when we get our surveys back, I don't think statistically from a game and fish standpoint, we're going to be all that disappointed in the statistical analysis. It's one of those scenarios where I talked to a guy that hunted 7 out of 16 and a half days and shot himself a basket-sized buck, not a trophy buck, but he was happy.
Yeah.
He found a buck, he shot a buck. I had another guy that I think he hunted 6 days, did not harvest a deer, was waiting for a big buck and didn't fill a tag. So statistically, he shows up null. He did not fill a tag. But in his heart, he had a good hunt. So those are some of the numbers that we'll be looking at down the road, probably into February and March.
Gotcha. And we've talked about it before, and I don't want to keep hammering the point home. Everybody gets it. It's about the experience when you're out there and being able to experience something like going out on a deer hunt. At least for me. If you don't feel the same way, that's fine. But in my opinion, as long as you get to go out and do it, I think that's half the fun in it there. Again, might just be putting my personal view.
No, I don't think you are. I think you do speak for probably the highest percentage of hunters that are out there. It's like everything. You've got one segment that says stick with J.J. McCarthy. You got another segment that says anybody but J.J. McCarthy. And you have some people saying, well, Carson Wentz really wasn't that bad then. So, you get kind of that middle ground. And I think you speak for a lot of what we would say is maybe the middle ground of hunters. There's going to be that small 10% that are never going to be happy unless they get a tag and they shoot a trophy buck. And there's also 10% that they might even be happy that they didn't draw a tag and whew, I don't have to worry about going this year.
No stress.
Yeah, no stress.
We are fine. No pressure here. Thanksgiving holiday coming up. I am very excited. I deep fry turkeys now. That's what and also, I gotta say.
Turkeys, like not just one?
No, just one.
Oh, okay.
But like I've done it multiple.
Okay, okay.
So, me and my father-in-law, we deep fried turkey for the first time, both of us, last year.
They weren't making safety videos about you, were they?
No, not this one. So my thing with it is, as long as you don't like drop a frozen turkey from like 30 feet above the fryer, it's not that difficult. You just gotta lower it in slowly. So make sure you lower. That's my PSA.
Hey.
It's not that hard. Just lower it in slowly.
Listen, learn.
That's my advice.
Did you learn the hard way?
No.
Okay,
no,
good.
I didn't. I was very stressed about it.
Yeah.
My wife was like recording it, like, this, watch this go up.
Evidence for the emergency room, huh? This is what happened, Doc.
That's what this stands for. Anyway, Thanksgiving holidays here. For those of us that still want to go out and hunt a little bit, we talked a little bit about muzzle loaders, but what are some hunting options for the Thanksgiving holiday?
Yeah, so you don't even need to have a tag to go pheasant hunting. So we talk about some of the limited opportunities for muzzleloader hunting. Archery deer, you don't go through the lottery on that. In fact, we issue our archery deer tags in North Dakota for residents. Essentially, you got to wait until they come in the mail. but without going through a lottery. And they're good from any particular corner of North Dakota, from Divide County to Richland County and everywhere in between. So if you're going back to see friends and family for the holiday weekend, or even planning ahead for the Christmas holiday, the archery deer season continues on until January 4th. So does our pheasant season. Our pheasant season goes until January 4th. And granted, those shots are not going to probably be happening. That's probably history.
Let me get everybody get a better view of
That's probably history.
Look how good we had it just a couple of days ago.
We did.
And now it's whatever that is.
Right, right. But the pheasant season remains open. Grouse season, partridge season, turkey season, squirrel season goes until February. So quite frankly, if you want to get outside and go for a walk, and you've got friends or family that are traveling here from other states, or kids that are coming back home for Thanksgiving and they haven't hunted in a long time, the wonderful thing is you can go on the Game and Fish app. You can buy your Upland game license, just tap and tap and tap, and you can hold that onto your phone. You don't have to print it off.
Awesome.
And you can be out in the field and hunting literally in a matter of minutes. So we really encourage people with the mobility and the access of the outdoors. We've got a lot of public land in North Dakota. Comparatively speaking, I should people. No, you don't. No, you don't. We've got opportunities.
Right.
We have opportunities, and from private land open to sportsmen, from waterfowl production areas to wildlife management areas, and you may not find the preferred option for public hunting access, but you can find a spot to hunt, and that's kind of the bottom line of it, is that we can't have everything for everyone, but if you want to go pheasant hunting in North Dakota over Thanksgiving, we've got an opportunity for you, so I'd encourage people to explore that.
I'm gonna have to try out pheasant hunting before the new year comes up here. I haven't done that yet. You did say partridge season a little
Yeah,
bit, didn't
yeah.
you? A partridge is a real thing.
Yeah, partridge is a real thing,
I just
Hungarian
learned that
partridge.
for the first time.
Yeah, it is not just part of a song.
Got it.
By-
I learned something new today. And
by Vanilla
maybe
Ice.
Some of you, yeah. For those of you that may not know, and I don't know why any of you would, we were reciting "Ice Ice Baby" by Vanilla Ice to kind of break the ice here.
You were.
We together.
Well,
You sang
was
some of it too.
I did.
Yeah.
Not as good as you.
But anyway, I know every lyric to "Ice Ice Baby" by Vanilla Ice, and that's something you all know now. How many people are in the Facebook Live? A very select group of
Yep,
people.
they know.
No. Yeah.
But it's going to spread.
Oh, it will. I'm going to get asked about it, and I'm going to have to recite the entire opening verse of "Ice Ice Baby" again. And you did this.
I did it.
You did this.
I did it. I did it. Guilty as charged.
Doug, besides that, thank you very much for joining us this week. We look forward to having you back here. Of course, we're going to be updating the ice situation
Yeah.
and hopefully get more feedback on how deer season went, and as more and more of these hunting opportunities become available.
Yeah, spearfishing. Spearfishing is on our horizon.
I want to do that so bad.
Okay.
My father-in-law was telling me about, they showed me some spears they
Yeah.
had in the garage, and I was like, I want to do whatever that is.
Yeah,
Whatever
yeah.
that entails. I'm in.
We'll talk about that maybe next week.
We're going to do a live broadcast from, we're going to go do some spearfishing live. Stay tuned.
And while he's singing Vanilla Ice.
Yeah, stay tuned. It's going to be, you don't want to miss this segment, I promise you. Thank you all for joining us for Valley News Now. I'm Devin Farrar.